Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris and this is my Lord of the Rings hobby. Now after the last video got so much likes, I did say that I would show you how I painted the figures, which was quite an easy thing. All I did was basically copy the GW. So as you can see here, I'm starting off with the fang. I'm going to paint this all over the model near enough. I don't care if it's a bit messy here because we'll tidy it up later, but we're going to look for the cloths, anything in the skin, and also like the face and hair area. There is a couple of little details I do skip out during this because it's going on a display, and it was one of those where I wanted these guys to just look a bit dirty, so I don't highlight a lot of the metals and metallics. Metals and metallics are the same thing, but yeah, I just don't go around highlighting them too much. So once we got our first coat on there, nice and easy. Oh, and of course I did spray it with black primer. What we do then, we look for the levers, and this was a bit weird because we only had the one, so that was it. It was quite an easy one, and then we moved on to the Balsafar Gold, I believe it's pronounced. I might be completely wrong, and I just copied literally the GW website for all the details. So this is it finished off. It's looking quite good at the moment. The next thing what we're going to go into is our metallics in a second. Just do take care, of course, around doing the metal bits, mainly because you've already painted the base. It's not a biggie if you do go wrong, but just for hindsight and so forth, just take your time, especially when you go around adding the metallic bits on now. So the next thing what we'll do is a nice lead belt and we'll put that up basically on the chainmail and on the chest plate. Again, just make sure guys that we refer back to our GW website or the app, which is really good because it breaks down the colours and what stages to do them in. I know a lot of people tend to want to do a stage first, but I kind of just take my time with it because it's a hobby at the end of the day. I'm not in a rush to finish this. This was one of those things what I would spend a couple of days doing that each time and just doing a section and then maybe putting a wash on it and then moving on to the next step. So yeah, there's the metals done. At the same time I was doing the farmer Maggot model, I just added the silver onto the scythe or whatever you call it. So the next thing I did was add a wash to the bronze metallics and also the levers, and we just use Agrat's Earthshade for that, just getting a nice brown finish. We do colour the armour and also the sword a different colour, which we end up of course using null oil. Now on the website it says to use the null oil also on the hair and face and skin areas like where the cloth isn't. I'm not 100% certain why, but I don't think it needs doing. Really, this whole model you probably could have got away with just using the Drakenhof nightshade, which I use later on in the cloths. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it was me being a bit just following it to a T, but again there's no rush. And again and again and again he says this is me just doing the null oil on the farmer Maggot model. So yeah, this is the Drakenhof nightshade. Again, I just pull this in. I'm not really that bothered if it pulls too much because, like I said, it's the display. All I want to do is make it look semi-decent. If we're looking at the models too much, then I feel like we've ruined it. I just want to concentrate and have something spooky on top of it. So yeah, I do move a bit of the pooling around, but again, like I said, I don't want to spend too long with these models. And this is it, fully done. So the next colour what we use to like give these guys a bit of a colour and a bit of a lighting is rust grey, and that's a layer paint. And these next two stages all I do is dry brush, so I give this one quite a heavy dry brush, and I'm not going into the recesses. I just want it quite overlapping, so where the curves come into it and so forth, and on top of the edges. So I'm going to give that a really cool like a thorough dry brush, if that makes sense. Make sure we get the face, because the face details do pop really well with this. And then once we've done all that, we're going to then look at putting up our final highlight for these models, which is Physian Grey, which is the lightest one of those. And like I said, if you're struggling, just literally go into the Citadel app, and that gives you a full colour range and how to do it, well, step by step should I say. And these guys were literally just, as you can see, I'm taking the time just dragging the brush across all the corners and just getting those peaks and those raises all hit. So once we're happy with the dry brushing, this is what they should roughly look like. As you can tell, I haven't highlighted any of the metals. I've left them as they are, mainly because I've got a few more details to put in. So for this model here, I didn't record some of it, and sadly a lot of it went out of focus because I wasn't paying attention. So that's bad by me. So I used the exact same colour range what we wanted to use on the Ghost, mainly because I wanted to show him being like he's been bit or he's been killed by him, and now he's slowly turned or stabbed, kind of like how Frodo nearly turns into a wraith. So all I did here was rust blue, not rust blue, the fang, sorry, blue, going up, blue, grey, whatever. And then I used a nice pale white, which was Rakarth flesh. Painting that up, and then what I tried to do, I'm not a very good painter, I'm not going to lie, so don't hold this to a T of how to do this, but then I wanted to blend him in, because like I said, I wanted to show his growth coming up, and this took me quite a while to do, because it's a technique I've never really done before. And as you'll see, I water down my brush quite a bit, and I bring it back and forth, and this took me a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, to roughly get how I wanted it, because you can see there we've got a very straight line, and I wasn't happy about that. I also ended up changing the hand, because I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, on blending wise, I don't really know technique. All I did was line up, added a bit of each colour, and then slowly tried to build up a little bit more, and hopefully get that transaction across. And for my first attempt, I didn't think it looked that bad. I know I mentioned this going on like a diorama, so it doesn't have to look 100%, but doing these little techniques on these sort of things really do help you get an understanding of how to do it. And even now, I'm still not 100%, but I was really happy with how it looked. So yeah, sorry for the long bit of this video. I just kind of wanted to show you what I had in mind and where I went from there. But yeah, I was really happy with that. And as you can tell, you can kind of see that blue, dark blue going up to that white, which I thought looked pretty cool. So this is the model all dried up, as you can see. So like I said, I was happy with the transition. So now I started looking at the other stuff of the details, and that was the wooden staff of his. I'll call it a scythe, but I might be completely wrong. I don't think it's a scythe. I think it's sure it's a scythe. But anyway, so I did the brown, of course, onto his stick, his handle, and then all I wanted to do then, of course, like I did with the previous models, I looked at that Drakenhof Nightshade again, but I did this all over the model again, all over, make sure it's all looking bluey dirt, and then yeah, and then I left that one to dry for a while again, probably about half an hour, 45 minutes. So the only thing I wanted to do was learn how to do a zombie sort of colouring, and I did these on the dogs at the same time, so the hounds got done a bit earlier while I tested them, and I was really happy with how they look. So all we do is Rakarth flesh again. We'll do that on the hands, of course, on his face, and then we're going to look at doing different shading. At the same time, I don't think I've done it, or I might have misrecorded it. Oh no, maybe I've not done it yet, but I do his sleeves of like a brown leathery. Again, I'm not too fussed about any of the shadings or highlightings on those bits, because I feel like if we're looking at his cloth or his like his little bit undergarment, I'd be a bit disappointed. So the first colour we use is the violet. I can't remember how it's like Dirty. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but basically I do that all. Just remember to keep moving the brush around. So as you see, I've got quite a lot in his eye line, so we're going to get rid of that eventually. But I am putting a lot of colouring on it just to move it around. Like I said, the good thing about it is that you can dry your brush off and just dab up the recesses. Again, the creepier this guy looks, the better. So yeah, I did this over the skin. I let it dry for about an hour, maybe 2, to make sure it really leaves it. So once we're happy with the finish of it, I let it dry, and then we moved on to doing the clothing. So we used the exact same technique as we did on the wraiths, the ghosts, which was a bit of a dry brush, but not going all over the model, of course, just going lower down. And then of course I finished it off with Physian grey again, sorry, going back up again. We just little highlights. I'm not going all the way to the top of the model or even halfway up. I'm trying to take it, like I said, I would like a nice growing technique all the way up. So sadly I forgot to record the bit of the skin, which was Crimson Bug Red I used as another shade, so I don't know where that file's gone, but yeah, so I added that all over the skin area. Again, I did that with the dogs, keeping in mind. And then what I wanted to do now was get a nice blood effect, so I looked online and I just basically went for the Citadel one, I think it's Blood for the Blood Gods they call it, and I just pasted this slowly across the models, again making my own little pattern where I think it might go, and making them look like they've been eating flesh or they're spewing up blood, dare I say, bleeding out their eyes, and into the hands like they've attacked something. And I did go for that sort of zombie look, and as you can see now, these are all finished off. I did these on the ghost too because I wanted to show a story of these ghosts have came, and then now they're turning people over and making them into haunted people. They've turned the dogs somehow. They've killed the dogs, and the dogs have turned. And you can see like little zombie dogs. I've also had a bit of like scarring around the back of them, on the arms and the legs, just to make them look like they've been in a fight for their life, and then now they're going around killing people. And yeah, that's all it was just taking my time adding the blood. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was very fun to make this diagram, which I'll link in the description. And there we have it, guys. If you ever liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free and it helps me a lot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I will let you know what I'm building next time, and bye for now.